I would rather not deal with the discomfort of change. I just want it to be better. Can I just fucking be better? Can I just get like, how about, is there like a button I can push or something like that? No, that's not how it works, dude. And that's the first thing you gotta let go of.
What's the eternal principle?
Brahman.
Which is?
Well, we call it God, but that personifies it.
What's going on, party people? This is episode 139 of From the Grave podcast. I am your host, Scott. Very excited to be here with you today. Spent a little bit, but we're back on track 2026 with FTG. I just got back last night, actually, from a retreat in Joshua Tree in California. It was a yoga center meditation type retreat. And I went there. George Peterson and Joe Amore, Vedic meditation teachers, put on this retreat, which they do multiple retreats a year. And yeah, we went to Joshua Tree and fucking just literally meditated and did breath work all day, which probably may not sound like a vacation to you, which is fine, totally fine, right? But it was a profound experience. I mean, we were waking up, 6 a.m. There's like advanced techniques with Vedic meditation. So this one was like a sequence of rounding, which is like a sequence of movements for the body, breathing, and then into your meditation. And each one of those segments is like 45 minutes to an hour. So and it's very profound. It launches you straight down into the bliss, into the good stuff. And yeah, so we did that, man. We just woke up and we did like 3 rounds before breakfast. I had no coffee, no Zen for like 3 hours. And I made it. And I also got to see how fucking stimulated I am all the time because of the fucking coffee and this shit. So it was awesome, man. It was a complete dopamine detox. The phone was off for a solid week. No social media, no TV, no computer, no work. One of the days we actually did a 24-hour silent day. So it was quite the spiritual retreat, man. I can't recall if I've talked to you guys about breath work or not. I may have mentioned it on here a couple times. I'm considering doing the training to be able to be a breath work healer, teacher, and be able to walk through people this beautiful process. So I hope that is coming down the line. Regardless, I will pepper in, I'm sure, the power of breath work as we continue, because it has been like the most recent radical, impactful thing in my life, mainly in my heart. And it's beautiful. And so before we get into the episode, I just want to point you guys to resources. When I started FTG in 2018, this is all I wanted to do. This is the mission of FTG, is to spark spiritual thought and action. So if the FTG can be a resource, a mosaic piece of spiritual raw material, and I'm just bumping around out here like bumper cars and meditation and breath work and prayer and this book and blah, 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 and I hit record and I fucking tell you guys all about it. That's the purpose of FTG, was to fire people up, to dismantle the intimidation of religion, scripture, and show how dope and cool and gangster recovery can be, and spirituality and all the different facets and notions and nuances of that. And all I wanted to do was have that propel people to take new action and hopefully experience just um, newness on the inside. And that already has happened. Multiple people, I think probably like a dozen, maybe over a dozen people started Vedic meditation. And this isn't because like FTG did it. I'm just saying that like the purpose has already been completed. So if I were to close up shop right now, it's beautiful. What I wanted, what I hoped would happen, um, has taken place to a degree, and much further has taken place beyond what any of us can ever see, as far as what our healing does, the impact, the ripple effect of that. So before I get into that, I just want to give a huge uh, thank you and namaste and bow to the light, um, within George Peterson, Joe Moore, and the program that you guys have put together, the dynamic duo that is you, and how you're able to share your heart with so many people and be there in such a radically authentic way and place your life experience before people that they can pull the beauty that you live into their souls. Um, you guys are just so loving. You're so passionate. And your retreat was amazing. It was the first like legitimate long spiritual retreat that I've been on. It is the most intense week of spiritual work that I've ever done. Um, and I'm blown away. And it was an honor to be a student and to listen and receive and learn from you guys. And so, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And if I'm going to drop their Instagram handle right here, but they're amazing. They're very responsive. Um, and please hit them up. Just say hi. Say you heard about them through FTG. Strike up a conversation, and maybe something can happen. But I'm going to make it my damn mission to get them down here this year, into the year a little more, and I'm going to try and set up a retreat down here for them. They're in Australia. They're based out of Australia mainly, but George is a rambling man. So, anyways, hopefully, 6-7 months or so, we can continue talking about this, and maybe we can get a crew together and go experience this stuff together down the line. So, thank you guys. I appreciate you. And a huge just thank you to all the men and women that I shared that time with. Um, I wanted to touch on a few things about that and the experiences, but I'm just gonna let it kind of flow into the conversation as naturally as I can. So, anyways, basically, what I'm saying is I'm spiritually fucking lit, and you're gonna want to listen up. Anyways, there is a life. So this whole healing thing, this whole healing and recovery, trauma and meditation and the way, right? Like the way that you are attempting to live, or the reason why maybe you're watching this podcast is because there was some authentic piece of you that is concerned with the truth, the deep questions of who am I? What am I? uh, and where am I? What is my purpose? What am I doing? 98% of the world, including me, I was always living in the throes of the world, operating on the surface of life, dancing in the madness and all the stimulation. And it can take you down pretty quick. So you however you come into the spiritual journey, be it you come into recovery or, a tragic loss of a loved one, maybe divorce or bankruptcy, it's always the bottom has to fall out. It doesn't have to, but the stubbornness and ego of most humans need the bottom to fall out in order to get a window of clarity enough to say, maybe I should fucking get my shit together a little bit because I'm kind of being a fucking asshole." So pain is the greatest guru that can get you to that place. Anyways, when you when you're willing or you're trying to walk a spiritual path, you have to reconsider everything up until that point. Meaning, 98% of the world lives off logic, reason. And logic and reason is great stuff. And, we make a lot of fear-based decisions. Like it's very A plus B equals C. Once I have enough money, then I can make FTG go full time and then I can be at peace. I just learned this from a talk that I listened to yesterday from Neil Donald Walsh. And it's have, do, be. Once I have the right body, I'll be able to do everything that I want to do. And I'll finally be able to date because I'll look good. And then I can be happy. Once I have the gold, I can do anything I want. And I can finally be happy. This is just how we stumble through life. These are the ways and the waves of the world. It's not like it's bad. For me, because of where my pain of addiction brought me, I have to reconsider everything. So, for instance, if I would say, actually, it doesn't work that way, Scott. Like the whole deal is you not knowing how you're going to do this, not knowing how you're going to be self-supporting through FTG and doing it anyways. And you take that leap of faith. And as George always says, you have to take this leap of faith in order to experience the feather bed of God. And, I'm not a guy who leaps. I never really finished anything. And that was because of poor self-image, trauma stored in the body, just patterns that always brought me back to the same defeat. Riddled, like, why do folks just keep happening? And if you keep on running into the same problem and the same issues in life, just under different guises, how like we take the approach, we're like, oh, fucking this again, or here we go again. If you find yourself saying, fuck, here we go again, you may be the orchestrator of the here we go again. Life will continue to give you the experience you need to evolve your consciousness, to raise above, to have a psychic change, have a spiritual experience, to become a new iteration of you, right? The lesson, especially in recovery, like you meet guys, right? And they'll come in they're in treatment like, 5-7 times like myself. And, you're in there and it's their 7th time. And it's like, have you heard anything different from first treatment stay to 7th treatment stay? Has the answer or the solution that life is giving you through recovery saying, hey, you should probably do this If I mean, unless you're thriving, don't change a fucking thing. Don't make a lick of a difference, right? But if you could say, how's it going? You happy? Are you happy with the bill of goods you're getting back from life? This perfect feedback loop? So if you're constantly getting hit with the same annoying lesson or opportunity to live a different way, how long is it going to take you to just fucking listen? It's like for 7 years, I went in and out and back and forth and recovery and high and streets and homeless and rehab and halfway. And it was just the same hell. And I swear to God, you could have convinced me that I enjoyed the view. Baffled, shooting myself in the foot, holding the gun, pointing at you in life. Here we go again. Here we go again. And they go, you can't feel the weight of that Glock in your hand. You can't feel that? Why are you pointing over here? Why are you complaining and whining? Oh, here we go again. If you're saying here we go again, you're creating the again. That's the point. Is whenever I'm up against the here we go agains, I'm not doing what George talks about in leaping. I'm trying to hold on to the edge of the cliff because it's too scary and I don't want to jump. It's too scary. I don't know if there's feathers down there. It looks like a great chasm and I may fall to my death. I don't want to leap. All right. Well, now let's look at the cost of clinging to the side of the cliff and staying right where you are. And you got to look at like the data from that. And you say, if you've been burying your head in the sand with your ass up in the wind, hoping that shit just blows over, you're going to be waiting a long time. And you're going to have a lot of sand in your ears, right? And we kind of take an account of the reflection of our life. How's it going? As me clinging to this fear, making fear-based decisions, not listening to my heart, not really living on the path, trying whatever, right? And we go, well, not good, man. I'm kind of jaded. I got this ominous cloud following me in my recovery, or I'm off the beam or whatever. And the shake back to life is being willing to disrupt that pattern. And the disruption's number one companion is discomfort. And if you're willing to gallop with those, you're going to be okay. And you're giving God an opportunity to show off. You're giving the universe the opportunity to show you how beautiful the song is when you just let yourself be the verse. I learned this on the retreat, right? Uni, meaning one, verse, meaning song, one song. We're all one song. When I resist that flow, the cadence of the notes, I just contract, play small, and don't listen to the heart, seek relief outside, and basically live in a manner that, essentially caused my collapse. And I'm living in a manner that, I'm trying to like snuff out in a way. What I've been learning is it's not about trying to snuff out character defects or shortcomings. It is about sitting down with the guy or the gal who you're not a fan of, the version of you that is constantly shoving your ass backwards. And it's like, which is super fucking annoying, right? Because it's like, well, how does one love on a version of themselves they despise? That's a good question. Well, I've never considered loving on it before. I've just always not wanted it. But here's the thing, the more you rebel and resist your defects, shortcomings, the more they overtake you. You're actually giving all your energy and effort and attention to the thing you don't want to be the most. And when we lay it out like that, that's silly. That makes zero sense. Frankly insane. Um, but these are the things we do. This is the way that the mind operates. And so there has to be this, how do we achieve, or how do we sit into this carefree and effortless approach, or this all inclusive approach of every iteration of me, every bad habit, poor behavior, um, misguided thinking, limiting beliefs. What if I actually, instead of being pained by these versions and whining and calling people to sulk about these versions, I actually got curious and profoundly interested in this guy that always shows up? You know, I say this all the time, but you know, uh my guy or my version is this Mr. I don't wanna, you know. I don't wanna. I don't wanna get up. I don't wanna go to work. I don't wanna do the dishes. I don't wanna do my I don't wanna do my homework. I don't wanna work out. I don't wanna get, what the fuck is that? I mean, really, right? Now, when my mind is like lit up with that Mr. I don't wanna and he's loud, I know that I've lost sight of my beingness. Is there's a lot of like uh resisting reality in my life. There's this like this seeking wiggle room and trying to hide from the reality in my life. Um, and that's just the surest way to pain, is like, listen, we even try, right? It's not about trying, it's nonchalant, carefree, would like it, but also would be okay if it didn't come. And see, like, but we use this want and this drive and this get and this focus on the spiritual path, and it doesn't fucking work like that. That's the whole thing, is 98% of the world may live in this A plus B equals C, and that's cool, and that's fine. There's no judgment. For me, my addiction crushed me to the point where I had to start to rely radically on spirituality to even have a shot at some type of sanity. And we start to learn things like let go, give up, stop resisting, fall in love with the version you hate, look at the pain, honor the pain, surrender, stop trying so hard, pray for them. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? And it's like, dude, it's asking you to live in an uncommon way. And if you want an uncommon life, you better start doing uncommon shit. I wanted anything uncommon from the way I came in the door. And so we seek, we ask for help. We're approached by those in whom the problem had been solved. right? And there was nothing left for us but to pick up the spiritual kit of tools laid at our feet. Real pretty and cute to talk about, hard in the taking. Because what it's doing is it's saying, hey, actually, the thing that you want the most, don't try to get it. Actually, turn it over, let go, bring all your love and energy into your inner world, animate that motherfucker, and then everything else in your life will take care of itself. Now, who wants to hear that shit? Who wants to hear that shit? I don't want to hear that shit. The ego don't want to hear that shit. It's like, give me something to fucking chew on. It just wants some. Give me a fucking bone. Give me something to do. Give me someone to fuck with. Give me someone to call and get in an argument with, or a job to complain about. And why not? Give me something that I can just. And we're like, no, that's the thing. That's the whole thing, man. Is you chewing on shit that's none of your business. You know, all I know is that when I'm committed to living in this manner and I'm really doing inner work to develop my faith and trust and the love of God and spiritual practices and my future, the now that's going to happen in a little bit from now, trusting that He will make all things right if I keep close to Him, right? And perform that work, that inner work well. Um, I say this all the time, but if we could believe in ourselves 20% of the way a loved one believes in us, we'd have no more issues. You know, hopefully you have somebody in your life that believes in you, that gave you a kind word or some loving words along your way. Maybe it was a high school teacher, maybe it was a coach in school, maybe it was a religious education teacher, maybe it was your mom, maybe it was your dad, maybe it was your siblings or cousins, aunts, uncles, right? Hopefully somebody spoke some love into your life. And if they didn't, hit me up on Instagram, we can talk. Um, and the saddest thing in the world is us believing our own negative talk and view of self rather than the positive, loving, inspiring, encouraging view that others have of us. How dare we land and listen on my own negative bullshit rather than listening to the beauty that everyone else is telling me I am? And now here's the thing. The people in your life, they're getting a live version. They don't they don't sift through your thoughts. We do that. And it causes us deep amounts of pain. But what they have is the data of how you show up, how you speak, your mannerisms, how much you smile, you know, your movement, how you walk, how you carry yourself, how you interact with others. There's people in your life that are going to see you in this way. And they are drawing from who you who you in a very real way. I think there can be some like offshoots of that, but in a very real way, they are seeing the most authentic version of you if you are actually living in your authenticity, right? They are seeing that. Like they know who you are because they're watching your heart live. But the same person that were watching their heart live and were like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing. I love you. You're like, you're so smart. You're so intelligent. You are going to help so many people. You have all these desires. Like, go and be and love." And we're just filling this person with all this encouragement and love, right? That's fantastic. But what matters most is how that person thinks about themselves. And I think that's the whole issue. Like, how do I take, how do we take, right? Like a full sweep, all the good stuff that people say that you are. And I go, I'm going to stand on this, forget what I say or think or judge about myself. If you tell me I'm this, and you know what, you're right. If you go, you're the fucking best, man. I love hearing you talk. I'm gonna go, man, you're right. I am the best. Thank you. And that sounds egocentric, right? But it's this Marianne Williamson quote, like one of the most beautiful quotes ever. And I'm gonna paraphrase, but it was like, it's not fear that intimidates us or failure or anything. Like our issue is that we're playing small. And who are we not to be brilliant and confident and amazing and fired up in all our glory? Why would we play small in fear that it may intimidate others or that you'll think I'm egocentric? It's like, think about like a 5-year-old or like a 4-year-old kid, right? They draw a picture and they come in and show, look, I just draw his picture. Now, obviously, the picture fucking sucks, dude. He's 4. And he's like, oh, look at this alligator. And it's a fucking black line or something, you know? And you're like, oh my God, little Johnny, that is so, whoa. How did you do that? And you just see their eyes, man. I mean, I did my sisters raising them with my mom, like Haley had these sticker books and she would just always want to do stickers. And then she got into drawing. They're both very artistically gifted from me. Okay. And every time they show me, they draw me something, right? Even if it's fucking shock. Now it doesn't. If you're listening, girls, I love you. They're dope. But, if you tell me it's an alligator and it's a black line, you know what I'm saying? So, but no, I'm not going to say, oh my God, little, just so good. How did you come up with your mind? You are just so creative. And the way you are the best. Oh my God, go show them in the other room. And we just lift up and celebrate. Now, let an adult walk in and go, hey guys, look at this picture I just drew. Oh, that's cool, man. What time's the game on? I think that's a large piece right there, right? And so, listen, and it's not the adult's job to celebrate us, but you better start fucking celebrating yourself like that. We must. Who are we not to? You think God wants you thinking about yourself any other way? You think God wants you to get up and be riddled with self pity and self doubt and worry and fear and what others think of me and all that shit? You think, no, not me, anyways, right? I truly believe in my heart that God wants me to, and I definitely do not do this, but that He wants me to, in a sense, this universe, this rhythmic flow wants us to be able to look in the proverbial mirror and be like, good morning, you're the best, dude. You are the best. Good morning, good look. Let's have a good day. What are we gonna do today? All right, let's get it done. And to really be like proud of the steps that we are taking to have a lasting and permanent change. And you're gonna have to clap for yourself, right? We're adults. The time there's not a there's not a cookie. There's no prize. There's no prize. The prize is the peace. The cookie is the beingness, the okayness, the love, the tears, the feeling. That's the gift. That feeling. There's that purpose. And that's we're there to live in that, hopefully, and share that with one another. And that's what happened on this retreat, right? So um at the close of the retreat, this is very common, but you spend a week together with a group of people, and then you go around and people kind of give you a little like tidbit about yourself, like how they see you, obviously, hopefully positive things. Um, and you can do this in groups, like running groups, treatment center, very common, right? But anyways, it's been fucking 10 years since I've done one of those, right? And it was just so cool to just receive and be this like be a student, And the things that were said, that we all said to one another, were just gorgeous. And and if you guys are listening, that were on the retreat with me, how dare we believe our negative self-talk versus what was said in that circle? Um, I think a lot can be changed with this type of like really celebrating yourself, you know. And I'm gonna fucking do that more. I'm gonna try that, because I'm not conscious of that enough, and I'm learning that a spiritual way of life intent is paramount, um, of who I want to be, how I want to be, and why I want to be. Um, yeah, it's not complicated, but it is simple. Um, and if we could just like the only thing that is getting in our way is our thoughts. It's the only thing, and you can't even grab onto it, and it's blocking you from action. There's nobody standing in your way. There's nobody blocking you. There's a thing that you can't touch, see. It's just an ethereal thought. Scientists say we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And um, they're blocking you from walking through doors like a 250-pound bouncer at a bar. But they're our own thoughts. And so that's why I believe, and in my experience, I've learned that when you are loyal first and foremost to spiritual development, learning how to identify with the God within you, the divine, the kingdom of heaven, bliss consciousness, cosmic consciousness. When you make your fucking business living from that place, um, the volume, your soul, the volume, it just gets loud. And you become really committed to living that out because it's ordained by the love of God. Let me ask you this. How do you know, like, think about your desires and what you want right now, like what you want. And the consideration is like, how do you know that that's actually what you want? And so, like, when I first got sober, right, I was, I was properly scared. I want to say scared. I was properly humbled, I guess, where like I didn't trust any type of like intention, thought, or perception I had. Like I was like, oh, I cannot. My mind is perverted and warped. And the only thing I know how to do is use again. Inevitably, Scott ends up high and drunk. And um, once I knew that in my cells, I made this decision and was like, I no longer have any desire or any preference for my life. Meaning, like, I didn't care if I had a car, where I lived, if I was in a halfway house, how much money I had, where I worked, if I worked at Panera Bread, in a phone room, if I worked, not what state I lived in, it was all finally irrelevant to me. If they said, all right, we want you to go to Arkansas and we think you're going to, do good there, I'd be like, all right, do it. And and that's not like me being like spiritually inclined. That's just a decision a broken man would make, which is okay. Okay. You want me to do this? Okay. All right. No fight, no arguing, no debating. The time for debating is gone. It's been fucking over with. And if you really take an honest, hard look at your life, you don't have any foundation to even debate with this way of life because this dis-ease, it has people by the neck, and it is heartbreaking. But there's just this black curtain of delusion, um, and it's sad, but that's also their story. They're living out um, they're living out their karma, and maybe their soul chose that. I don't know. Um, I feel like I'm being a little scattered right now, but um, the point is, this is all about love. This is all about love. This is all about being able to live from a place um, of okayness, and there is okayness and love um, threaded in all the hurt. It's threaded in all the hurt. And it is your compass. There is a call in there. It's actually like a perfect looking in view to where your treasure is. But the kicker is, hurts. Fucking hurts to talk about, hurts to look at, hurts to write down if somebody even can. Most people, the hurt has so much power over their soul that they can't even write it out on a piece of paper. Now, think about that. If I can't talk or if I can't write about my hurt, my pain, my insecurity, all this stuff, I can't write that shit out. I can't even get it out my arm through the pen into the ink on the page. Imagine the hole that has on your soul. And most people walk around in that type of bondage and then spend their days doing irrelevant things, just things that are not relevant to getting released from that self bondage, or to be gripped up like that, go home, watch 3 hours of Netflix. Most people I've learned so much about community, so much about community. And I'm telling you that, listen, 80% of 80% of it gets better when you stop being alone with your problems. When people come into treatment, I'm telling you, man, I've been in the field. I'm not trying to I've seen it over several years. Once people like land in treatment and they're surrounded by a community of other people who are, whether it's mental health or substance abuse, there's, because most of the pain, one of the hardest things when you're going through tragedy, uh, be it like a serious mental health struggle, depression, whatever, panic, anxiety, addiction, is not being able to communicate the weight that this has on your soul. And when you go into a place and you ask for help and you meet other men and women who are breathing that same air as you, and you know with one look that they understand what you're talking about, that they hear and feel and see your pain. And there is something that shifts once you feel seen. Once you know that you are now placed yourself in a community of brothers and sisters, shoulder to shoulder, trying to grow and develop their spiritual muscles in order to radically transform their life. That's the whole fucking thing, because it's impossible. I would say it seems impossible by ourselves. Like having a community at every step of the way. That's it. That's where we feel the love. That's where we share the love. This is where we can start to really step into what it means to have true connection and compassion with another human being. I mean, listen, one of my buddies got married, and I told him, and he had bachelor party, and like I don't know, like 12 of his homies from back home came to his, and these are his brothers, you know what I mean, like his boys. And I was like, dude, you're so blessed up to have these guys like still in your life after this, you know? Um, I don't, I mean, I did a pretty good number back home. Um, but I don't have that from my past, and I'm not whining or, sad song. I just lived in a manner that ensured nobody was going to mess with me. Right. And so I didn't realize how alone I actually was until I stepped into a community. And now listen, I may seem, I am a talker, right? And I may seem like an extrovert, and I can be around a ton of people all the time. That's not accurate. Um, and it's very difficult to have hurt and place that hurt in the middle of a community, knowing that you're truly being seen now. So the double-edged sword is like, I'm no longer alone and people get me, but oh shit, they got my number. They're hitting me between the eyes. Fuck, now I gotta like do something about this. And then the challenge comes is, do you actually want healing, or you just want a microphone and a stage for your problems? Ooh, that one fucking stung a little. Ooh. Most just want that mic, son. Anyways, telling you, man, don't do this alone. Do not do this alone. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to do this alone. Um, and God He flows through the heart of every human. And some of the most profound experiences I've had um, have been like through and with the hearts of others. Like that's where I experience the divine intelligence of God, the magnificence, the omnipotence of God. Anyways, moral of this episode is I'm the fucking best, and so are you. Um, how's it going? If you're not happy with the results you have with how you're operating in life, maybe we got to reconsider and really shake some shit up. Don't do this alone. Link up with another human. Be vulnerable and be willing to be seen. You know, it's not easy, but it is not complicated at all. The trophy goes to who is willing to be the most uncomfortable. There's this universal filter like glow up that's gone over this spiritual path that makes people feel like, they start praying or they read scripture or they meditate or read the Bhagavad Gita or whatever, that, they're just going to float up on the magic carpet ride with Aladdin and a whole new world is going to come into view. And it's like, it's actually quite the opposite. Think about it like if you've ever gone on a diet, right? Why do we go on a diet? Why do we go on a diet? Well, because I'm fat, sick, and nearly dead. I have no energy. I'm dehydrated. I have body dysmorphia. I hate how I look in the mirror. Right? And then that gets painful enough in your own heart and your own soul. You say, I'm going to go on a fucking diet. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to do it for sure. January 1st, man. Here I go. Oh, yeah, I'm going to work out for sure this time. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not. Because that first meal of chicken and spinach, it's all right. But the third one of the day, and that no sweets at night, and then you wake up in the morning and you got to do it again. Chicken and spinach and water and chicken and spinach and rice and plain rice and salt. No processed, no sugar, no this, depending on what type, right? Your body is like, fuck you, give me a blueberry Pop-Tart. Somebody give me a fucking pecan swirl or I'm going to fucking lose it. Somebody better find me a fucking Twinkie. Your body's it's not about give me what we've always had. Even though it hurts, even though it's painful, even though it sucks, even though I essentially do not want this, I would rather not deal with the discomfort of change. I just want it to be better. Can I just fucking be better? Can I just get how about, is there like a button I could push or something like that? No, that's not how it works, dude. And that's the first thing you got to let go of. That any true lasting change, it's the little tweaks built into a long span of time that creates the awakened man or the awakened woman. It's not one workout. It's not me going and doing 60 crunches that's going to give me a strong core. It's not me going in there in my garage and benching 225 and I'm going to fucking just be the Hulk after. No, it's going in there and benching 225 4 times a week for 5 years. And if you don't want that to be the script, then don't even fucking ask for a solution. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean with the microphone and a stage for my problems. Because I used to be that guy. I would just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about the woes and the problems and all this shit. And then a mentor would be like, all right, Scott, this is what we should do about this. Based on my experience, let's take this action, times it with this thought, and we'll pray and let's do this, Scott, right? And then I just wouldn't do any of it. And I would go back and try to talk about the same fucking problem. And my old mentor, my old sponsor, Adam, he had a 3-time rule. Don't talk to me about the same issue more than 3 times. 3rd time, shut down. 1st time, all right, what's going on? What's coming up? What do we think as far as a solution? All right, let's make a practice, implement this. 2nd time, go to them with the same pain, same problem, haven't taken any action. All right, well, do you think like maybe if you started to take the action, we talked about this problem, maybe you think about, I don't know, I'm just scared or whatever. All right, well then, how's it going? Would you rather do this? And the answer is like, no, obviously not. But the body doesn't know how to it's difficult to walk through fear. You must summon courage. Like, it's fucking hard, right? We think that we want that, but we really just want the problem to go away. We don't want to actually take action on it. I want a fucking 4th, 5th, and 6th time to talk to my mentor about my problems. And he's like, no, motherfucker, I got a life. Like, sorry. You know what I mean? And it's like, most of us just want to whine. And you can't fucking tell a whiner that. That's for sure. Right? Run away. I'm not whining. Yeah, you do. You fucking whine. All of us were human. But here's the thing. Once you really start to pay attention to your little whining, sniffling baby shit that you're doing and trying to live as a spiritual adult, once you accept the fact that that bone is in you, you'll start to get sick of even hearing a whiny thought develop in your skull. You'll turn it over in 2 fucking seconds. That I don't want to. Boo freaking who, dude? Shut up, right? And it's like, it's okay though. You know what I mean? We whine. You know what? Whine as long as you do. Whine while you're taking the action. Dude, when we were on the retreat, you think I want to wake up at 6 a.m., meditate for 3 hours, not have a drop of coffee, no fucking lip pillow, no nicotine, no nothing, and do no, I don't want this man uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. But what I know in my heart is the radical love of God is in the places that really challenge me and make me uncomfortable. I just know that that's where it is, you know, along with everywhere else. But I just mean like the evolution of me, the evolution of who I'm becoming, the evolution of who you are becoming as a character in this life. It depends upon your constant willingness to place yourself in challenging discomfort. That's what I've learned through my experience. I know that in my heart. And what I also know is that it is very difficult for me to, I'm going to say very difficult. It's just not necessary that I try and do all this myself. Like, I still call people. I still rely on people. I still ask questions. Go to retreats. I seek help. I struggle with my meditation. Certain things confuse me. Books don't make any sense. I call, I ask, I get resentful. I lose my shit. I'm still human. And God knows we have to deal with our humanity. We don't have to become a mystical saint, but it would be nice to be saintly. You know, it would be nice to, my life has, oh God, it's goodness. That's what it means to be saintly. It's just goodness, lovingness, kindness. And that is available for everyone all the time, cafeteria style, buffet. There's no waiters. There's no waiters at a buffet. So if you're sitting around waiting to eat and everybody else is spiritually full, you're the asshole. Because all you got to do is just get up and go serve yourself, right? But most of us want to be waited on. Where's the fucking waiter? Can I get some service in here? Son of a...
Get that shit!
Yeah. I got to put some new sound bites on there. But anyways, God loves you. So do I. I am the best. And so are you, man. So treat yourself like it today. Have some fun. Be easy on yourself. Don't take yourself and your thoughts so seriously. They're just thoughts, man. Give yourself a fucking break today. And if you're struggling, man, you need someone to talk to, DM me. DM me on Instagram, all right? Peace, love. I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. I hope you had a good close to 2025, and I hope that you are excited and as fired up about life as I am for 2026. And so here's to many more, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. If you feel like it, and share this, subscribe, smash the subscribe button, all that shit. Email me at From the Grave Podcast if you're interested in doing one-on-one work or coaching, or you want to learn about meditation. I can be a resource for you and guide you in any way. Hit me up, From the Grave Podcast at gmail.com, FTG Podcast on Instagram. And I'm here to help, man. I'm here to help in any way I can. All right. So peace.
What's the eternal principle?
Brahman.
Which is?
Well, we call it God, but that personifies it.